Hi everybody, it's Carla with Cobweb Corner and welcome to FlossTube number 39. Today is, Friday, March 20th. And it is just after the first day of spring. So just to address the obvious, we're in some crazy times here. My husband and I are pretty much practicing complete isolation, especially me. Paul, my husband, has had to go to town a few times. He's been the one that's been going to get groceries, but I basically have not been out of the house. I think in the last 2 weeks I've been out of the house 3 times. He was on travel for a week and just got, oh sorry, the cat is bumping the camera, so if it's vibrating, that's why. He was on travel and just got home a week ago today. And he's been working from home as much as he possibly can, and I think that's going to get more and more prevalent. So yeah, I've been a little anxious, as I'm sure all of you have, and we're just going to hang in there. And I think we need to remember to be positive and hopeful, and just we'll get through this together as much as we can when we're all stuck in our own houses. So what's been going on? It's only been a week since my last video. Come on up, Bo. Yep. This is Bordeaux. If you haven't watched before, she likes to join me. She's likes to be on film, so she's also a little pest, and she likes to be on my shoulder. So try to keep her down. So work in process. Oh, sorry, Bo. You got to get down for this. I am working on Summer Delivery by Plum Street Sampler, and this is so much fun to stitch, and I'm really getting close. That's how much I've got done. So was a little bit worried. I picked out a color of fabric where the horse doesn't show up really well, but I think it's going to be fine. I did figure out I made a mistake. Bo, you're snagging my shirt. My very first thing I stitched was this star here, and I stitched it about 7 stitches too high. And after I did that, I had stitched all of this before I realized that that was 7 stitches too high. But I don't think anybody's gonna notice or care. But isn't this just an adorable design? I just really like it. So all I have left is these few little stars here and the 1776, and that's it, and I'll be done. And then I'm going to get back to working on my stitch along for the Songbirds Garden series by Country Cottage Needleworks. Hang on, I got some tea and I want to drink it before it gets too cold. Plus, it seems like I've been doing that a lot. So, some news first. Today, like I said, is March 20th. March 22nd, on a Sunday, we are having another one of our auction style sales. Cobweb Corner has a special Facebook group, and I'll put the link to that down below, where every once in a while we list from 10 to 12 items or so in a auction style format. This one will start at 10 a.m. on Sunday the 22nd and will end at 9 p.m. Central Time. So if you want to bid, you need to understand the time zone. One of the items in the auction this time is kind of a unicorn. It is the 1999 Christmas Treasures box by Just Nan, and it was a limited edition class project kit. If you join the auction group, there's a video there, or if you just look at my channel, there's a video with all of the items that are going to be auctioned, and the very first one that I describe is the Just Nan kit. So it's pretty exciting when those kind of things come through the shop, and so I wanted to tell you in particular, there's also a couple of Bothy threads, B-O-T-H-Y kits, and those are imported from England. I got those from a woman who is 89 years old and no longer able to stitch, and I don't know if she purchased them in England or if she had them shipped, but those are also included. So other news, we are having a new stitch along, and I'm trying to find the charts here. Well, I'll show you one of them here. This is also going to be a giveaway, but I'll talk about that later. We're doing the Colorful series by Kitty and me. There are cats, owls, bunnies, butterflies, and eagles. And in the stitch along, you can stitch any of the designs that you want from the series. So we've already got, I just started the stitch along group 2 days ago, or really like a day and a half ago, and we've already got 35 or 37 members, something like that. So I think it's going to be a big group, and I think I have more charts that I can show you in a little bit. Otherwise, if you just go to the link that I'm going to post below for the Facebook group, you'll be able to see all of the charts in the series. There's information on where to see those. And we aren't sure about the start date yet, but I'm thinking May 1st. So that gives you over a month to choose what chart you want to do, purchase it, get your fabric. It's done in all of her charts in the series are done with DMC floss, so that helps save on cost. And if you're in the group, you get a small discount on the charts themselves, and then each chart calls for 1 spool of Kreinik. And I'm trying to stock the Kreinik metallic thread just for those charts. So I've got most of the colors in, and I've got the rest on order. So we would love to have you join us and stitch with us. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet. I probably will do one of the cats, and my birthday's on Valentine's Day, so I was kind of thinking about doing the cat Valentino, but I'm not sure yet. There's so many cute ones, and a lot of people are stitching more than one. Sorry about that. The giveaway from last week was for 3 items by It's So Emma, and let's see, is it all It's So Emma? Yep. And the first one was Prim Village. That includes this awesome keychain down here, and the cross stitch key, which lets you measure fabric, has a small ruler, some guides, things like that, and the set of 4 miniature patterns, and it's cross stitch card set D. And the winner for that is J. Lee. So if you are watching, please email me. My email is in the information below, and I need your shipping address, and I will get those out to you. So got that. Okay, antique tools. I've been doing a segment from this book, Antique American Needlework Tools. And this book is by Dawn Cook Roningen. If you like to have reference books or interesting information on needlework and the history of needlework, especially I'm concentrating, mostly just on America, this is an excellent book to have in your library. I have a link to it in my Amazon shop, and the link to my Amazon shop is down below also. But last week I started the section on needle storage, and I'm going to continue that section with paper needle storage. And I'll insert some photos after I read the little section here. So paper needle books. English needle makers package their products in paper needle books. Some of the book papers were embellished and finished to look like leather. One example, shown in an 1886 Bloomingdale's catalog, was imported from Blood's brand. The all the year around plush needle case is described as a handsome silk plush case, satin lined, containing 5 papers of Blood's needles, bodkins, and darning needles. The purchase price was 35 cents. A similar book containing 5 papers of Millward's needles and a pocket had a combined cost of 39 cents. The needles were all imported. Sometimes the outer needle book package was a joint venture with an American company. Handmade paper needle books include perforated card, pasteboard, and Bristol board. Bristol board is heavy paper often used for watercolor painting. Pasteboard is thin yet strong. It was often cut into shapes and covered with fabric for the front and the back covers of the needle books. Perforated paper is pierced in regularly spaced increments manufactured in various thicknesses, strong enough to carry cross stitches. The perforated paper grid, simulating an even weave linen or canvas, was often cross-stitched with charted designs. Designs included sentiments like "Remember me," "Forget me not," etc. The paper is heavy and can be cut into most any shape. It does not require a frame or a hoop when stitching. The scale of the paper is measured by the number of perforated holes per square inch. The pieces of paper can be cut into shapes without fear of unraveling. Shapes and layers are stitched together to create the covers for the needlebook. Beaded embroidery was encouraged in women's magazines because the small glass beads did not fade like threads. Stationery shops from the mid-19th century sold Bristol board cards with decorative perforated borders. The edges could be left as purchased or embellished with needlework. The center could be printed, stamped, painted, or embroidered. Bristol board can also be used for watercolor. Many 19th century girls' schools offered training in watercolor painting. Subjects were often botanical, with sentimental meanings. To form a needlebook, 2 pieces were used to create the front and back covers, and wool felt pages were sandwiched in between to create needle pages. Additional finishes include thread, lacing, silk, ribbons, beads, and inking. Thread was used as a decorative feature in paper needlebooks. Not only could colored thread be embroidered into designs, it could be wrapped in at pinked edges to create decorative designs. Special care was taken to hide the beginning and ending threads to make the inside cover just as attractive as the outside. Once again, the front and back pieces were attached at the top with a ribbon, including the interior wool flannel pages. Pasteboard was covered with fabric, hand sewn around both sides of the board. Sometimes padding like quilt batting is placed under the fabrics to soften the finished covers. The edges could be finished with decorative stitches or bound in ribbon. The pasteboard provided a firm surface for the front and back covers of the needlebook. One edge of the book was bound to create the spine, incorporating the wool needle pages. So I thought that was interesting where they had the price from 1886, so 140 years ago, was 35 cents for the book and needles. So that must have been quite a bit back then. I was also wondering, I don't know if it covers it in this book, but I'm also really curious to learn where, especially really early, previously in my FlossTube videos when I talked about the history of American samplers, they had examples from the 1600s, and it's like, how did they make the thread? How did they get the thread so fine? You know, I know that they spun thread, but then how did they, what particular did they use to dye it, or did they purchase their thread? And I think that would be really, really interesting to know the dominant colors and how those colors were made, and where the girls, especially girls in the colonies in the very, very early years, where they got their supplies. So anyway, that's the Antique American Needlework Tools book. And again, if you're interested in this kind of thing, excellent addition to your library. My business topic today. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the effect of the early effects of the virus crisis on my business in particular, but it's going to apply to a lot of businesses. And when I talk about some of these things, and how it affects the business negatively, please understand that, in the scheme of things, it just doesn't matter to me. Of course, I want my business to succeed, and I'm a little worried about, what's going to be the long-term effect. But I understand that that's the probably least important thing about what's going on in the world right now. But it is a business topic, and I thought that I would go ahead and talk about that. It would be interesting to see how my perspective changes, 3 weeks or 3 months from now, depending on what the situation is in the world and around us. So that being said, business in general in the last 14 days is down 50 to 60% on my site alone. And I have an online site, so you really have to feel for the people, the shops and boutiques everywhere who don't have an online store, and their only form of business is brick and mortar. And now many of those are being forced to close their doors. And I think more and more are going to be forced to close their doors over the next few weeks. My situation here is that if you're worried about purchasing from Cobweb Corner, is that I am the only one who touches the inventory here. There's only me. We don't have employees, never have. It's just me trying to get all of this stuff done. The only other person, we run the business out of our house, so there's never delivery people in the house, or there's never customers in the house. And the last 3 weeks, there's been nobody but my husband in the house. So even though we aren't exposed a lot, I wash my hands constantly. Every time I eat, every time I put my makeup on, or of course I wash my hands after I put my makeup on. But anytime I do anything that I think might warrant it, I wash my hands, and I also have hand sanitizer here. So I'm not worried at all about that. I feel really fortunate that I can still provide the service that I do to people who are forced now to stay in their homes, and we are lucky that the craft that we've chosen in cross stitch is such a soothing and meditative form of passing the time. And I think that this particular craft is going to help a lot of us just to stay calm, and we'll also hopefully get a lot of stitching done. I plan on it. That's the only quote bad thing is I don't leave my work. My work's right here at home, so I don't really have an excuse to say, oh, well, now that I'm quarantined at home, I can, I'm not quarantined, but isolated at home, I can stitch all I want, but I still have piles and piles of work staring at me, so I'm going to do that. So anyway, Cobweb Corner is a very, we're just, I feel it's a very, very safe place. So that being said, I do worry a little bit about whether the post office will eventually close, which means everybody who ships, except for probably essential businesses, wouldn't be able to do that anymore. And that would really put a damper on things, but we'll address that when and if that happens. I'm also looking for ways to connect more with my customers and try to do what I can to help people outside of my home to cope better. And one of the things I'm doing is going to try to increase even more my shop's social interaction via social media. And the first way that I'm doing that is through our new Stitch Along, the colorful series. And I'm going to do a couple more Stitch Alongs. I'm going to try to do a couple very easy ones. I think one of the next ones I'm going to do is the Little Sheep Virtues, I think it is, by, I should have looked it up. I can't remember. I think it's Country Cottage Needleworks. And those are very simple inexpensive charts that you only use a few colors of DMC floss, and most of them call for a button, just another button company embellishment that's like, an extra $2. So you can like kit up the whole thing for under $10 or around $10, and then use whatever fabric you just have, because they're very, very small designs. So I'm going to try to do a couple of those where people might be more willing to join the community and share their progress on something that they can stitch really quickly. If you have ideas for that, let me know. Another group that Cobweb Corner established is called Stitch and Move, and we've got well over 100 members in there. And that one, I'm trying to post daily little things like sing happy birthday while you wash your hands, to make sure that you get your full 20 seconds of washing in and stuff like that. But the community is designed to encourage people to move more and stitch more. And so I think that it's a good place for people to go. And I think we might we might have a recipe exchange. I'm thinking of doing things like post your favorite 20-minute recipe, things like that, or what are you doing to stay sane, or maybe we'll have a post of favorite TV series or favorite movies on Netflix, that type of stuff. So if you want to join that community, I'll also put that link down below. So I do feel as a business owner that I should try to help where I can, and you just can't do much when you can't get out and see people or interact personally with them. So those are the things that I'm thinking of so far. If you have any other ideas, let me know, and we'll do what we can together. So that's it. That's my business topic for today, and I hope that I can very shortly say that that is behind us. Let's see, new giveaway. Excuse me. I am going to give away the bunny chart in the Colorful series by Kitty and me. If you want to stitch this and join our stitch along, that would be awesome. If you want to win this chart, just say, I would like to stitch lavender. I would like to stitch lavender. And I will draw the winner for that in FlossTube number 40. Okay, inventory. So the other thing that I didn't say on my business topic about the impact was I had just spent I'll use the word boatload of money on all of the new market releases. And now I have to pay those credit card bills. And it's like when you increase your purchases, your normal purchases by about 2.5 fold in a single month, and then your business drops off by 50 or 60%, you're like, oh wow, what am I going to do? So yeah, we'll figure that out. My husband might get a little bailout notice. I might have to go to him and say, please, honey, you need to float Cobweb Corner a little bit of money this month, but we'll get by that. I'm not worried about it. So I did buy a bunch of releases that were released during market, and instead of showing you all of them, I'm sure you've been inundated with Nashville Market floss tubes, but I picked out some of my favorites that are currently available. I don't have all the different ones listed. I still have to list Michelle from Bendy Stitchy, and I have Trishia Cogets were on back order because she had one book that didn't come. I'm really excited to get Trishia Cogets designs. She started designing samplers, and one of her book contains 15 patterns, and I think it's only, I can't remember what the cost was, but it wasn't that unreasonable. They were small patterns, but it was 15 cross-stitch patterns celebrating her 15 years of designing cross-stitch or something like that. I can't remember. Excuse me. So I'm really, hers I think got shipped today, or maybe they're getting shipped tomorrow. So I can't wait to get those too. But I picked out some to share that were my favorites. And the first ones are by Core eBatty Core, which I just love this designer. And this one is called just say Stitch Spring Embroidery is what it's called, and it has the words Happy Spring and Stitched Spring Happy Spring. And just look at that. I love, they're just so, she does such cute details. Like this bird has a little hat on it, and you've got a strawberry pincushion, and then down here is this shoe with flowers in it, and the little ladybug here. So there's just so many little details in the pattern on her dress. So that one is, it's in Spanish, it's Primavera Ricamada, but it's spring, I think it's translated as spring embroidery. From the Blackberry Rabbit, one of my favorites was The Visitor. And then My Big Toe, I have Losing My Mind One Stitch at a Time. And this is also charted for Finding My Mind One Stitch at a Time. That's by My Big Toe. Blue Flower, absolutely love this. Huckleberry Farm. At first glance, it looks like a standard sampler, but these are all bears. You've got a bear at the honeycomb here, a bear in the mountains, a bear down here with berries, I believe. And then there's a little bear here, kind of slumped over and sleeping. And then this is a teddy bear. No, it's just a regular bear. It's not a teddy bear. So, and then it has this beautiful, more modern, not modern in today, but compared to sampler times, country home. Isn't that beautiful? Very, very unique. That's called Huckleberry Farm by Blue Flower. The next one is from Annie B's Full Cart, and this is the Hanes sampler. And this is really beautiful too. And the unique thing I liked about this was it's got the cow and then the family, the mother, daughter, father. This is a calf, I believe. And I thought there was a son. Oh, here's the son right here. So the Hanes sampler by Annie B's Full Cart. And then also by Annie B's is the Needle Street, and it says, "We don't say goodnight till our stitching's complete. That's how we roll here on the Thread Needle Street." On Thread Needle Street, not the. Thought that was cute too. And then I had another one from Annie B's, the Pink Houses. And of course, then I can't stop singing Little Pink Houses for You and Me. Then Glendon Place. Love this new. She has a series of charts called in the All Around series, and this is Halloween All Around. And I just think that's so unique the way she did the Happy Halloween. And that comes with a floss pack too, or doesn't come with, but there is a floss pack available. And then she has the Hibiscus Mandala. And that is done in Dinky Dye silks, and there is a Dinky Dye silk floss pack available for that too. And then this one is so beautiful. It is Until We Meet Again. And just first of all, this is just beautiful border, and I'll go ahead and read it. "Those special memories of you will always bring a smile. If only I could have you back for just a little while. Then we could sit and talk again just like we used to do. You always meant so very much, and you always will. The fact that you're no longer here will always cause me pain, but forever in my heart you'll be until we meet again." And then it has the room for the name of the person that you're remembering. And that is just beautiful. And there's an embellishment pack, and I believe a floss pack for that too. Let's see here. All right, that's it for my favorites from what I've entered so far for new releases. And then I entered some, I'm continuing to get boxes from a store that is still in business, but they're trying to reduce their older inventory, things that their customers have seen over and over and over for years, and they just aren't selling. So they're sending them to me, and I've entered quite a few of those. So I want to give you an idea of some of the things that we get when we purchase new charts, new older charts from stores and individuals. And the first one I just love. It's Tree of Life, and it includes 2 charms, and it's by Studio B, and it has room for names, parents' names with their wedding date, and then children's names along the bottom. So the children's names are here, parents' names, date. Isn't that beautiful? And then it's got an acorn charm and leaf charm. Look at the little bluebirds here and the honeycomb, or beehive, I mean. Just really beautiful. Trail Creek Farms, Lip Love. Says, to my lovey-dovey Valentine, kiss me please. And then I've always liked At the Hop charts. And these are, you know, I think most of these are going to be from the mid to early 2000s. This is Archangel, based on Noah's Ark. And then another Noah's Ark chart by Cross-Eyed Cricket. And this would be so cute in a Sunday school room or a child's room. I just really like that. Then we get some older things like trivets. These are feathered friends. And then it also included some sweetheart trees, which are just timeless, I believe. They're band samplers. The sweetheart tree band samplers are just so delicate and so pretty. Then with thread in hand, says you can either do a small framed project or you can make it into a needle roll. And it says, with thread in hand, I'm at my best, and this is where my needles rest. So they made a needle book with it, and it includes a heart charm. And that is by Lavender Wings. We've got Sailor Bear by Dimensions. And then an older Shepherd's Bush pillow flock. And then real older things from Imaginating. These are called honorable mentions. It's like Just Call Me Mommy, Turtle Today, Hair Tomorrow, Nobody's Perfect with One Exception, Dad is Good Duck, Grade A Teacher, Stay Away, I'm a Crab Today, I'm on the Chocolate Diet, and more. We've got giftables for mothers. And these kind of charts are really a good deal because these older charts, this one retailed for $6. It's got some storage wear. I don't know what it is on my site, probably $5 or less. And you get a whole booklet of charts, you know. So these are often a really good deal when you think about what you pay for one chart now. And it's often a very simple chart. You might pay $8 to $12 for one small simple chart. And so some of these older books are really good deals. And I also like this one, Itty Bitty Romance by Twisted Threads. And another one popular in the past is Birdhouse Collection by Heart and Hand. And another cricket cross-eyed cricket chart. It's got Home is a Place in the Heart, and it's called, the name of the chart is Home and Heart, and then there's another chart on the back. Then we have Over the Moon Summer Bee by Sisters and Best Friends. Hope, Hugs, and Kisses by Sisters and Best Friends. Anticipation sampler. And this one is Anticipation 3, Calico Crossroads. And then Anticipation 2, Snowflakes. Then another older cross-eyed cricket, In the Beginning, Adam and Eve sampler. And I like this one too, Bed and Bath. Then we got a Raggedy Ann and Andy chart from Designs by Gloria and Pat. And some more Sweetheart Tree. And then we got some Shenanigan charts. This is Twinkle Bear, and this one comes with a bead pack. And then there's a few different ones of that. And this one is what I'm looking for. The Silk Sampler. Isn't that beautiful? And this is by Just Cross Stitch, and I think this one might be a little hard to find. So that's available too. Mosey and Me, House on Attic Street. And the Herb Sampler, the Herb Garden Sampler by Design Connection. Some more Shenanigans, and I think that's about it. So that's a good representation of the types of things that I get when I buy older inventory from stores that have gone out of business. So the new, we did the giveaway. All right, so I think that's it. I'm just going to do our poem. I've been reading a poem out of The Rose That Blooms in the Night by Allie Michelle. And this one I picked is called Community, and I thought that that was a good one for the times. Okay, community. Sometimes you meet people and you immediately get past all the small talk and normal niceties. You find out what puts a sparkle in their eye, what they have been through, and the strength it taught them. It takes a certain kind of courage to drop beneath the part of ourselves we're used to presenting, to see and be seen, to feel and be felt, to hear and be heard. This is the double-edged sword of vulnerability. If you avoid it, you avoid the opportunity for lifelong connections. Vulnerability is what we crave most and what we fear most. Everyone has a story that is worth being heard. The key is to be brave enough to tell ours and compassionate enough to listen to theirs. So that's it for FlossTube number 39, and I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for subscribing if you are interested in our videos. We really appreciate it. Happy stitching, everybody.